Hi, my name is Chris Davis, and this is my third video blog. Today I will be discussing neoevolution and our growing ability to manipulate genes in the human body. The term neoevolution didn't come into existence until the 1940s. Its primary focus is on short-term and long-term culture change. Neoevolution is also concerned with how different cultures have adapted to their own environments. One technology that I feel will dramatically change our culture and human evolution is our growing ability to manipulate human genes. In 1997, Dolly the sheep became the first successful clone of an animal, and in 2003, the Human Genome Project decoded the first complete map of human DNA. Paul Wolpe said we are now entering a phase of directional evolution. Through gene splicing or manipulation, we have created a lion-tiger hybrid, glowing fish, and kittens, and genetically engineered foods. Up to now, the majority of gene manipulation in humans has been through gene therapy. Gene therapy has been used to cure diseases such as leukemia or to cure a genetic abnormality. Through gene therapy, experimentation on animals, and continued research, our knowledge on gene manipulation is growing significantly. The evolution of man took millions of years. Through directed evolution, man will be able to drastically speed up this process. Through directed evolution, human life forms could be developed that would never develop through natural selection. This is all made possible by the Human Genome Project, which gave us a roadmap for how a human being is built. We have reached a point in human history when we will soon have the knowledge and ability to do some amazing things. There are many potential benefits: curing disease and eliminating genetic defects, restoring eyesight, and giving people who have lost the use of limbs new life. Through the ability to force stem cells to grow into certain body parts, we will basically be able to grow spare parts. The hardcore directional evolution will begin when we start trying to improve the human body. We could create superhumans. We can improve longevity, creativity, fitness, or our talent levels. However, there are many potential issues with this technology. Best says it is likely these abilities will shake the ethical and social foundations on which contemporary civilization rest. He also wrote that in the past, technological watersheds of the past came about gradually. This gave society a chance to adapt. Due to technological advances, major changes are about to occur rapidly, and society is unprepared. He also states by the year 2050, our society is likely to include a wide variety of hybrid beings, part genetically modified humans, and part machine. Many families will follow a conservative path and choose not to accept any modifications, while others will choose to genetically modify their bodies. This will lead to two divergent paths. The hybrid beings may have superior intelligence, strength, and health. This may pit the two groups against one another, and who would become the dominant force. This leads right into the ethical and moral implications of neoevolution. There's one thing that I find very disappointing in this class, the scientific community, and academia in general. When it comes to morality and ethics, there is very little discussion on how this might relate to a God. That's because the majority of people in these fields want the subject of intelligent design or God to go away. Through all of the material presented in this class, there was hardly any mention of the subject. The only thing I could find in our textbook was chapter 18 about Amish technology. In that chapter, it did explain that they were Christians, but it did little to tie their beliefs about technology to their religion. The chapter was primarily dedicated to explaining that technology didn't contribute to their community values, therefore they put strict limitations on it. 20 or 30 years ago, both sides were presented about evolution and a intelligent design. That is no longer the case. So one of my moral dilemmas is, are we playing God, and do we have the right to do that? From a secular standpoint, my main moral and ethical concerns goes back to the possible divergence of the human species. If superhumans are created, what happens to the non-modified humans? If they are weaker and less intelligent, do they survive? As little as 30 years ago, this possibility would have been thought of as complete science fiction. The world is changing fast, and it is no longer science fiction. Should we continue to pursue this form of technology? I personally feel that if we could limit this technology to curing disease, repairing damaged bodies, and repairing genetic defects, it could be a good thing. I don't think it should be used to enhance or evolve our species. Unfortunately, I know it will not be limited to curing or repairing our bodies. There is too much money at stake. Many people would be willing to pay huge sums of money for genetic enhancements. In the beginning, it will be advertised as helping us live better lives, but I'm afraid over time it will morph into a bizarre new world.